My name is Rick Turnroth, and I operate Turnroth Sign Company. We're a family-owned business. I'm the third generation. We're located over in East Route 30 in Rock Falls, and we manufacture, design, install, and maintain electric signs. We also have Turnroth Sign Company, our outdoor advertising, and we do billboards. We have most of the billboards in Lee and Whiteside County. That's what we do. We like to say if it's a sign, we do it.
Why is a sign important for a business to get its message across to customers? And what does size have to do with that?
Well, a sign is the least expensive form of advertising that a business can do. You pay once for it, you stick it up, it works for you 24/7. And there is a relationship between the size of the sign, changeable copy on it, displaying sales items, things like that, in how much money to make inside the store.
And you would consider this display of the Kohl's sign to be effective?
Absolutely. It's out as close to the right-of-way. When you're traveling up and down, got plenty of time to see it, plenty of time to make a decision if you want to turn in. You could leave your home and say, well, I'm going to Kohl's. I know where Kohl's is, and you go. But keeping in mind that 25% of the people out there on the road aren't from the area, don't know that Kohl's is here, you might... when you get right down to it, the whole purpose of a commercial area is to separate people from their money. It's just, you have to create a sale. It sounds crass, but if a business doesn't make money, nobody makes any money, including the municipalities with sales tax. Some communities try to regulate signs. They think it's going to enhance the overall value of the community. You can go into communities in the Chicago area where they only allow signs maybe 8 foot tall or less, maybe 30 or 40 square feet. You can't see any of them. Don't have time to read them. And actually, they'll say in the sign code, they'll say that they want to help promote traffic safety in the community. Yet, if the sign's too small to be read and people can't find the business, they don't know where to turn in. Might turn in rather suddenly at the last minute and has the opposite effect.
And the new Menard sign is different than the old one.
Yes.
What was the thought process in the new display?
It's a more contemporary design. Back when this Menards was put in, it's a sign on a pole. It's a rectangle, but it's on 2 poles. The poles are decorated and enclosed, and then there's also room for other signs for hopefully future businesses in the development on it.
And what about the difference between a corporation and the ability of a small local business to advertise? How does that play into what their limits are? And I think it would affect how big a sign they could afford, a small business, for example.
It does that. The number one reason for a small business failure is underfunding. Just don't have enough money to start out with. So that a lot of businesses look to keep their startup costs as low as possible so they don't get adequate signage, which is why one of the things with the SBA, they researched it extensively, and they won't give an SBA loan to someone who's doesn't have an adequate signage plan. Part of the new sign code, they want to signs that are allowed to go right up to the right-of-way will be regulated in the highway business district here just to 18 foot in overall height. And then if you want to go up, I think it's 22 feet, you have to set back as high as you want to go up. And that's great if you've got a setback like Menards or like the Buffalo Wild Wings. When you get farther into some of the older parts of this highway business district, those buildings are closer to the road. Their parking is right there. They don't have room for a setback. So it's going to decrease the size of the sign that they can do, and it'll have an effect. In the Kohl's, under the new code, this sign would be significantly smaller, and the building letters would be significantly smaller.
Oh, the code affects building letters as well?
Yes.
What are the changes
size of
there?
signs on buildings? They're allowed to be a percentage of the wall.
Oh.
So you just have to calculate the wall size and then what percentage, and then there's a maximum square footage that they can be. So it's going to be one or the other.
Do the electronic signs affect your business at all?
Oh yes, they're
so?
quite popular. There are a lot of driving up and down here. You can see a lot of what we call manually changeable copy, like up there on the mall sign, and just past it on Larry McCormick's sign back there, where just the letters that slide into track. When it's 15 degrees out, the owners of those signs, they don't want to go out and change them. Their employees don't want to go out and change them. So you have the electronic message centers. They've been very, very popular. We've done a lot of them in the last year and a half. And simply because people can change the message on them whenever they want to from the comfort of their office at their computer. And they're extremely effective in communicating with the customers that go by their businesses every day. They keep saying we don't want it to look like the Dells, or we don't want it to look like Las Vegas. And my question to that is, you don't want people walking around buying things? You don't want to create the excitement that the electronic signs create? Is that the community opinion, or is it just the opinion of the planning department and consultants? I don't know the answer to that question. Now this Midland States Bank sign, we took a larger Amcor Bank sign down and put this one up. In the Central Business District, freestanding signs are allowed, but 10-foot overall height. That one right there is 16 feet. So anything new would be smaller. This kind of a sign wouldn't be allowed because you've got a message center on it. They're not going to allow message centers in the Central Business District. Changeable copy is going to be regulated as a percentage of the overall sign size. So some of the changeable copy might get smaller. Every lot, everything is different. You got different setbacks. I mean, here at Merle Norman, she's got a front yard. She can have a freestanding sign out in front of it. But if her business was built right to the lot line, there wouldn't be room for a freestanding sign. As a sign guy, when I go in, I'm biased. I could never understand when they redo the plumbing code, they hire plumbers and they sit down and they talk and they redo the plumbing code. When they redo the electrical code, they get electricians and they sit down and talk about how they can redo the electrical code. But when they redo the sign code, they just get people. They don't want sign people involved because we're biased, and you get a sign code that oftentimes is unworkable. We were lucky that the Plan Commission was very, we had some business people show up to the meetings, and they allowed us to talk, and we had excellent communication with the Plan Commission, and I think the sign code was going to change, and I think the changes are better than anything had the business people not been involved.